Australian beef ribs that have been fed on grass. Look at these beef ribs. Look at the marbling in here. Beautiful, delicious, fat that's going to melt in your mouth. This rib, when it's cooked for the right amount of time, will be mouth-wateringly delicious. And I can't wait. The thing I need to do is, of course, flavour it up. And what I'm going to do is cut my ribs in half. You can see we've got these beautiful intercostal muscles here, and we've got the bone sitting right here, and of course this meat and flank on top of it. This is the best part. This is the short rib. It comes from right here on the beef. Oh, I can't wait to eat this. Now the next thing I'm going to do, and this is my mate's secret recipe, I'm going to use this blender to create the most amazing marinade for my ribs. I'm foaming at the mouth. I just can't wait. Take the top off. Now get your pens and pieces of paper out. Some onion. Now to that I'm going to add some peppers. You can roast them yourself. Rub a little bit of olive oil on the outside of the capsicum. Roast it in the oven until the skin peels off. Take the seeds out of it and the green cord and then throw it straight in there. The next thing, I've got some coriander, some fresh coriander. If you're in Texas, this is called cilantro. About half a bunch. I've got some raw sugar in here. You need a little bit of sweetness with ribs. Pop that in there. And I've got some beautiful hot cayenne pepper. In it goes. Then the next thing I've got is some powdered ginger, just to give it a little bit of spice. And I've got some chilies, some long red chilies. These are a little bit mild, but I've got enough cayenne pepper to knock your socks off. Just cut them into strips like that so they break up a little bit easier. In they go like that. A few cloves of garlic. I've got 4 here. Straight in they go. And I've got a little bit of soy sauce. I know it sounds a little bit oriental, but a little bit of soy sauce, it gives a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of saltiness, about 2-3 tablespoons in there. Some Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire sauce, whatever you want to call it, about 2 tablespoons go in there. And here's some maple syrup. This is where the Canadians get a bit of a look in. About half a cup of maple syrup in there. This will be so sweet and delicious. Then, of course, a little bit of America, some tomato ketchup, or as we call it in Australia, tomato sauce. About half a cup goes in there. You might be thinking, Richo, what are you doing here? Believe me, it's worth it in the end. And of course, I've got some lovely vinegar, just to give it some sharpness. About half a cup of that goes in there as well. Then a little bit of tomato passata, just to give it some body and hold it together. And of course, some red wine. I'll put about half a cup of red wine in there, just to give it that adult flavour. Grab your lid, pop it on top, and all you need to do is press the on button and feel the love. There we go. Have a smell of that. I can smell the sauce in there, the spiciness, the sweetness, all the flavours are in here. This is what I call Texan love. Now what I do now is I grab my sauce and I pour it over the top of my ribs. There's a lot of acid in here as well and a lot of spice, so these ribs are going to soak up all this flavour. And the sauce actually reduces down and becomes part of the actual flavouring or the sauce that you use with the ribs. Now all you do is give that a bit of a shake and a bit of a move around so that the sauce coats and marinades all the ribs. That is fantastic. Now this is the part where I'd normally tell you to marinate this in the fridge for at least 3 hours or up to 24, 48 hours so the flavours get in. But you know how impatient I am. I can't wait. I really want to get into these ribs. So what I've got is some baking paper that I put over the top of the ribs. And that stops any of the acid getting through and corroding the foil. Then the foil I put on top here like this and fold it all around. Now into the oven. Low and slow, 160 degrees. These ribs will take from 2.5 to 3.5 hours. You will know that they're cooked when you take them off and you can poke your finger into it and the meat falls off the bone and falls apart nice and gently. Rib meat is quite tough meat, so it needs to be cooked low and slow so those muscle fibres just fall apart and become juicy and soft and tender and dribble down the side of your mouth. This is going in the oven. Hot sauce. That's what you need with ribs and tacos. So when you've got your taco in your hand with your rib there, you spoon a bit of hot sauce on there and you get that fiery burn in your mouth that gives you an amazing flavour. Your tears roll down your eyes, you start sweating. That's what Texan food is all about. Now to make my hot sauce, I've got my onions sweating away nice and gently in my pan with a little bit of olive oil. I've got my blender here again, and I've got some peppers, about half a pepper that's been roasted, and a couple of cloves of garlic, 4 to be exact. Now I'm going to add some tomato. One tomato that I'm going to take the core out of it like this, and just give it a rough chop. In quarters there, and in quarters again. The next thing I'm going to add is some carrot for a little bit of sweetness, but also carrot, when it's pureed up, gives a sauce like this the body that holds it all together. So I'll just give that a rough chop like that, and then straight into my blender. And now for the hot stuff. These are habanero chilies, and if you can handle it, use these habanero chilies. Bullet chilies aren't quite as hot, but if you're going to have a sauce like this, you might as well do the real thing. All I'm going to do is take these little green pieces out of here, and I'm going to leave, against my doctor's advice, the seeds in. And if you make a really hot chili sauce like this, you only need a little bit. And wouldn't it be fun to give to your friends as a Christmas present? Nice hot chili sauce, but just don't tell them what it is. Now what I'll do is I'll pop the lid on here and give this a blend. Beautiful. Look at that, pureed up nice and fine. Now all you need to do is just take the blade out. This will start sizzling away beautifully. I can smell the heat, but it'll be nice and sweet as well. It'll be one of those sauces that only a teaspoon will be enough, but it'll be beautiful. The next thing I'm going to add is some brown sugar, just to give it a bit of sweetness. About half a cup of brown sugar in there. I've got some lovely white vinegar here, about half a cup. Now you might need a little bit of water as well. You want this to be fairly thick, but really, really tasty. So I've got some limes here. I want a little bit of acidity as well. 1, 2, and this will be the flavour of Mexico. Nothing says Mexico, well, apart from ribs, more than limes, freshly squeezed into a sauce like this. All I need now is a pinch of salt and a little bit of time, about half an hour for this to simmer down very gently. This will thicken up, and this will be the hottest sauce you will eat in your entire life. Oh, there we go. My ribs are cooked to perfection. Nice and delicate and soft. Have a look at this. Look at that. And the sauce has reduced down to become nice and thick. That is sensational. That is perfect. That's exactly what I want. Grab my little fork and I'll just show you. See how the meat just falls off the bone there like that? That's all it is. That's what I want. I could stop there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to finish this dish. I'm going to make the salsa to bring this whole thing together. I've got some corn here that I've cooked. Just steamed it or boiled it, whatever you want to do. And I'll just cut the kernels off the side here like this. With my nice sharp knife, put a little bit of olive oil into my bowl here like that. Crumble the corn straight in there like that. And I've got some tomatoes here that I've had the skin taken off and the seeds taken out. All I do is cut through like this. And I want a little salsa, about the same size as my corn kernels. I want this to be a nice, zesty salsa. And then I've got some red onion. You can put some chives in here as you want. I will put some chives in, but I find some red onion gives it a great colour and a great flavour as well. Straight through the middle there like that. Everything is about the same size as the corn kernels. And all I do is my hand is pop them in like that. And then, of course, I've got some avocado. Avocado, that's what you eat in Mexico. Lovely guacamole or salsas. Just cut open like this. Look at that, beautiful, fresh avocado. It's a lot easier when you quarter it. You just peel it off like this. Then all you need to do is slice it through the middle like that. Through the end like that, through the middle, straight through the end like that, and you get a beautiful dice. Straight into my salsa like that. A little bit of this coriander here or cilantro, depending on where you come from. Roughly chopped like that, straight in there. That gives it a lovely fresh flavour. And then some chives for more of that onion sort of flavour. Now you can cut them really fine if you want, but I like to cut them like this, about 1 centimetre long. In we go. And then what we need is some lime. A nice big squeeze of some fresh lime. That's what gives it the zing and the flavour. Some salt in there. A little bit of pepper. And all we need to do is mix that around. This is the flavour of Mexico. All these things together here on my bench. It just takes me back to my holidays and back to Dallas, Texas. That's ready to go. And what I need to do is, of course, my corn tortillas. A lot of the tortillas you buy in Australia and other places are made from flour, but it's the corn ones you want. It's worthwhile finding a good South American store or Mexican store where they sell them. They make the dish so much better. All you need to do on a medium heat is just pop them onto the pan here and let them warm up a little bit. When they warm up, they become soft and the flavour comes out of them. That's what you need to do. Now it's time to bring the whole thing together. My tortilla's softened up nicely. on a nice low heat. You can see it's a lot softer now, and that's what you want. Now what you do is pop that on here, and with my fork, I'm going to grab a lovely piece of meat. Oh, beautiful. Then all I need is a little spoon to grab some of this sauce here, just to moisten it up. I've got a spoon here for my salsa, and then the hot sauce. This is where things get a little bit dangerous, and I'm going to be careful. That, I reckon, would send rockets to Mars, but I'm going to put it on top of my taco here. Now, if I never make it out of here alive, you'll know why. But I reckon, if there's one way to go, this is it. The best taco in the world. Now, this is the only way to eat a taco. You hold it up like this, turn your head on its side, and you take a bite. That is hot. It's delicious. It's moist. It's juicy. It's tasty. It's fresh. It's zingy. All the things you want in a snack like this. I've got a big pile of tortilla shells. I've got plenty of ribs here, plenty of salsa, and plenty of hot sauce. It looks like I'm going to be down here for a long time.